there is a conversation, maybe more than one, that keeps coming back. You're not thinking about it on purpose. You might just be driving, washing the dishes, or trying to fall asleep, and there it comes again. Something maybe that was said, maybe something that wasn't said, maybe a relationship that never really felt like you got closure, or a moment that you keep returning to and not really meaning to. You've probably tried to make peace with it. Maybe you've journaled about it. Maybe you've talked it through with a therapist, life coach, and maybe you've told yourself you've moved on, and yet it keeps coming back. I want to tell you why. And my friend, it might just not be what you've been told before. Hey, my friend, Danny Simonese, welcome back. I work with self aware women who have done the inner work and are still being run by the same patterns. If that's you, stay with me, my friend, because what I'm about to share with you might change how you see this entirely. So, Let's let's talk about the standard explanation for why old conversations keep coming back, right? And you've probably heard it's because they're unresolved. And yes, that is true, but it's not the whole truth. And I want to talk about the whole truth. So, here's what I watch happen over and over again. Someone is doing the work on a painful conversation, a hard conversation they had, something that created something, changed the trajectory of their life. They process it, they understand it, they can explain exactly why it happened, what it meant, what it says about them, about the other person. And yet, 6 months later, they're still coming back to it. It might not be as intense as before, but it's still there. So understanding it clearly wasn't the issue, right? It didn't make it go away. Understanding it isn't actually the point, my friend. The conversation, it keeps coming back because what's underneath it? The decision, the moment that created inside of you about what was true, about whether you were safe, about what you're worth, about what happens when you need something from someone else, about whether the people you love will stay. That decision, my friend, was made in your nervous system. And it was made in a moment of pain. And it's still running. And that conversation that keeps coming up, that's just the surface of it. Here's how this actually works. When something happens that the nervous system experiences as a threat. And when I say threat, it doesn't necessarily mean danger. It can mean disappointment, humiliation, abandonment, overwhelm. The nervous system does something very, very specific. It makes a decision about you, about others, and about the world in an instant before the mind can even catch up. It's automatic and it's protective. This person can't be trusted. Needing things, right? Being needy leads to loss. Speaking up for what I want is going to cost me something. I'm not enough. I'm too much. That decision, that belief that you make in that moment, that your nervous system makes, that gets stored in the system as fact. A truth that your body is operating from. That's why the conversation keeps coming back, because your nervous system is doing its job. It's flagging, red flag on the play, situations that resemble that original situation. It replays the memory. It keeps you aware of the thing that was once a threat because it hasn't got the okay signal that we're safe. That loop Is the nervous system still waiting for the resolution that we're good? A conversation can't do that. This is the part that I think most people aren't clearly told or aren't told enough. Closure. Let's talk about closure. Closure, the kind that we're taught to look for, is usually about that conversation, right? We need to have that conversation. I need to hear the words from that person, right? Getting to say maybe what you didn't get to say, or hearing what you wanted to hear or you needed to hear, having the other person acknowledge what happened. Sometimes, my friend, that helps. Like, sometimes that really does help. It's like, okay, right? There is this sense of relief. And if the conversation could give you everything and really bring that to a clear resolution, the loop would have stopped. You would have stopped processing it. But the fact that it hasn't means that that conversation isn't actually the resolution. It's the decision that the nervous system made. It's the decision underneath all that. When that, my friend, shifts, when you're able to shift that, when you start to understand it through that level, right? When you're working at that decision level, then the conversation stops coming back. The nervous system gets the signal that it's been waiting for this entire time. There's a different conclusion that the body can now make. So when a conversation comes back, here's my invitation for you to look at this as information. You've heard me say this a million times. Any emotion that we have, any trigger that we get, that is all information, my friend. And there's a question I'm going to invite you to explore. In that moment, what did I decide was true? In that moment, whatever is, when that conversation comes back, you start looping that conversation. I want you to ask yourself, in that moment, what did I decide was true? And you can look at it. What did you decide about yourself? What did you decide about you? What did you decide about maybe the other person or other people? What did you decide about what's safe? What did you decide about what your worth is? Because that decision is still running the show, my friend. And that is where your work actually lives. Not in going over the conversation a million times and trying to understand it. And not even in forgiveness, although, my friend, forgiveness will come through this. Forgiveness is part of the healing process. When you find the decision, which is that deeper understanding, that moment that it created it in, you can actually do something there. That's a different kind of work than what most people have tried. And it's the kind of work that is actually going to stick. My friend, if you've been in that loop, if the conversation that won't stop, that relationship that never felt finished, the thing that you've processed 20 times and it's still there, I want you to know that that is a depth of work problem, not a you problem. The conversation was never going to resolve it. Your understanding was never going to solve it. Where you have to go is where it actually lives. And if you want to understand what that looks like for your specific situation, I do have a 20-minute call called my Inner Authority Call that is available down in the link below in the description. And this is a conversation for you and I where we will hop on Zoom and get to the bottom of what's really going on. My friend, if this video made something click for you, be sure that you are subscribed to the channel because this is content that I love to make. Not the surface level healing talk, but the real work. My friend, I'll see you in the next one. And until then, remember to keep shining your unique light.